In this video, I'm going to be talking about things you should not do when writing a resume and doing an interview for English teaching jobs in Japan. Coming up. What is up, everyone? It is just one more Guyjin sharing and simplifying Japan. Welcome back to the channel, and if you are new, thanks for stopping by. I have lived in Japan for almost 7 years. I've changed job a couple of times, and through each process, I have seen a bunch of resumes and interviews of my previous or current employers. And man, I've seen a lot of bad stuff. So I'm here to help you. These are some things you should not do. Don't do it. Number 1, not looking the part. You gotta look the part. For example, if you are applying for a preschool or kindergarten teaching job, this is not how you should look in your profile picture. Does that look like you want to hire them to teach your kids? I know it's Japan, and a lot of people say that you should be subdued in your picture, but I know that preschools and kindergartens are looking for friendly people. So at least put a slight smile on there, have a comfortable and friendly face. And if you are applying for an ALT or Eikaiwa job, yeah, put it a little bit more subdued, but you do want to look friendly. And when you are coming in for an interview, if you do get an interview, have some enthusiasm. I've seen some people that come in like this, and they want to teach our preschool and kindergarten students. They're gonna bore them to death. Mistake number 2, not narrowing down your search. You can't apply to just every job. You're gonna see this a lot from me, but you gotta do your due diligence in research. Make sure you know what the company is all about. Do they fit you? Do you want to apply for a big company? Do you want to apply to a more smaller company with possibly only one school? It's all about you. If you're here to just come to Japan and experience the Japanese culture and live here for a year, definitely, that's fine. But make sure you're applying to a company that is okay with that. That tends to be kind of the bigger companies, probably not gonna be a preschool or kindergarten either. You're looking more at an ALT or Eikaiwa job at a big company. Do not apply to a small Eikaiwa or preschool or kindergarten if you're just there for 6 months or a year. You're just there to have fun. I'm not saying that's bad, just don't be surprised if you do and don't get hired. And to make sure that the type of job suits you. I've got a whole playlist about teaching English in Japan, so please click the card. That goes through some of the top 3 industries in Japan, your ALT, Eikaiwa, and preschool kindergarten teacher. See which one suits you first. Number 3, you have too little or too much interest in Japan. Let me explain. If you are fresh off the boat and you show too little interest in Japan, you have to realize it's a big stretch for companies to hire people from abroad. They would much rather hire people that are already in country, usually. If you live outside of Japan and you're applying to jobs, make sure that you show that you are interested in Japan, Japanese culture, and make sure you can show that you are flexible and that you are able to deal with the culture shock that you may or may not get. The last thing they want is for them to hire you and for you to get culture shock and quit within a month and go home. Now the opposite applies if you're already in Japan. If you've been here for 2 or 3 years and you're still telling every employer that you love Japan and you're so interested in the Japanese culture and it's so beautiful, just stop. Show a little bit of interest, like, hey, I've been here for 2 years, 3 years, I really like it, I want to continue living here. That's it. When I look at people who write about that stuff, I just skip the whole thing. I don't want to read it. Because I know you already live here in Japan, you've lived here for a couple of years, you're fine. Employers are more looking for if you're a good teacher and if you're going to fit their company or their school. Look back at number 2. And if you want to know some things that you should do on your resume and interview, check the card above. Mistake number 4, not being open. If you are new, that's completely fine. We all had to start somewhere. Just make sure you state and show that you are ready to learn how to teach, or you are ready to learn their way that they want you how to teach. every company is different. They have different ways they do things. Make sure that you state or understand that. Actually, I got my first job here when I was back in America. I was still in university, hadn't graduated yet. I had to give a sample lesson as a part of my interview. At the end of that lesson, I asked them. They hadn't given me the job yet. I asked them what I could improve on teaching-wise. I know for a fact that got me the job because the previous teacher told me so. Because of that, I got jobs over already experienced teachers. Just stress that you are ready to learn their teaching methodology. That's a big word. And this goes double, triple for people who are already working here in Japan. Companies do not want you to be stubborn in your old ways of teaching from a previous company. I've seen it time and time again that people have come in and been super stubborn about their ways and they no longer have jobs, or at least with that company. This is gonna bring us to number 5, not knowing your role. You have to know that ALT companies are working to please their BOEs, the Board of Education. They want teachers that can please the BOE. Eikaiwas are businesses. They want to make as much money as possible. And that's not all bad. Of course, they want to make money. You have to realize that. So in a resume or interview, you have to answer the question that they are asking. How can you be an asset to them? Of course, you want to be good at teaching or you want to be a fast learner. Companies are more than willing to hire fresh teachers as long as they're flexible and willing to learn that company's way. So know your role. And the 6th mistake that I see all the time is thinking that you need Japanese. You don't need to learn Japanese. You don't need to know any Japanese to get jobs here in Japan. It's a good idea for your personal life, but it's definitely not needed. So if you do speak Japanese, don't parade it around. Just say, hey, yeah, I can speak Japanese, no problem. And if you can't, just say, hey, I can't speak Japanese, but I am willing to learn when I get there, or I am studying now. Once again, bringing us back to your point number 3. You have to show a little bit of interest in Japan if you're coming from abroad. Thank you so much for watching the video. I have a whole playlist on the side of this video. Check it out if you want to know more about getting an English teaching job here in Japan. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Cue the outro.